You have been told that the chosen are strong, disciplined, untouchable, but no one tells you this truth. The higher you are called, the stronger the temptation that hunts you in silence. This script exposes why those destined for greatness fight the most private, most humiliating battle of all, lust, and how this hidden enemy quietly erodes power, focus, and destiny if left unconquered. In this discourse, we confront a problem rarely spoken aloud. Why do individuals marked for leadership, vision, and influence, those we call chosen ones, often wrestle secretly with lust? Not the vulgar act alone, but the craving for pleasure, validation, and surrender that distracts the mind from command. Here we will dissect the roots of this struggle, not with comfort, but with clarity. So, the chosen may rule themselves before they attempt to rule the world. When power enters a man's awareness, it does not arrive quietly. It sharpens the senses, accelerates the blood, and awakens appetites that once slept without voice. This is the first secret the chosen ones discover, and the first they are taught to deny. Power does not merely elevate the mind, it stimulates the body. Those select, ed for influence, feel life more intensely, and intensity, when left without mastery, seeks release through lust. Understand this clearly. Lust is not born from moral decay alone. It is born from surplus force. The chosen carry excess energy, mental, emotional, spiritual. They see farther, think deeper, and move with urgency. Such pressure demands an outlet. When purpose is unclear or delayed, desire steps forward as a counterfeit mission. Lust offers immediate sensation where destiny demands patience. Thus, power awakens desire not because the chosen are weak, but because they are charged. Niccolò Machiavelli understood that men who command others must first understand the nature of their own impulses. He observed that ambition inflames confidence, and confidence persuades a man that limits no longer apply to him. The chosen feel this persuasion early. They sense that they are different, that rules bend around their will, that restraint is for lesser men. In this belief, lust finds fertile ground. Desire whispers that pleasure is a reward for greatness not yet achieved, a down payment on future glory. Power also alters perception. When a man recognizes his influence, he becomes aware of how others respond to him. Attention increases, admiration follows. Opportunities present themselves without pursuit. This attention does not merely flatter the ego, it feeds the appetite. The chosen begin to associate desire with confirmation of worth. Lust becomes proof of power, not a threat to it. In this way, desire disguises itself as entitlement. There is another danger hidden here. Power compresses time. The chosen live mentally in the future, yet lust demands satisfaction in the present. This collision creates inner tension. The body seeks release now. The vision promises reward later. When the mind cannot reconcile this conflict, it compromises. Lust becomes a shortcut, a way to taste victory before it is earned. The chosen, burdened by delay, are tempted to steal pleasure from the moment to compensate for sacrifices made in silence. Machiavelli warned that unchecked power leads to self-betrayal before it leads to public downfall. Lust is often the first betrayal. It is private, deniable, and easily justified. The chosen tell themselves it harms no one, that it sharpens rather than dulls them, that indulgence is necessary relief. Yet each indulgence trains the will to obey impulse instead of command. Power that cannot govern desire begins to fracture from within. There is also the matter of identity. The chosen are told they are destined, exceptional, set apart. This belief, while necessary for leadership, carries risk. When a man believes he is extraordinary, he may conclude that ordinary discipline does not apply to him. Lust thrives under this illusion. It convinces the powerful that consequences are negotiable, that discretion replaces restraint, that secrecy equals safety. Thus, desire grows bold, not because the chosen seek corruption, but because they underestimate erosion. Power awakens desire because power amplifies everything it touches. Confidence becomes arrogance if unguarded. Energy becomes restlessness if undirected. Desire becomes lust unruled. The chosen are not warned of this amplification. They are praised for strength, vision, and hunger, yet no one teaches them how to contain the fire they carry. Lust becomes the overflow of unchanneled force. Machiavelli would not advise suppression without strategy. He knew that denial alone breeds rebellion. Power must be disciplined, not starved. The chosen must recognize lust not as an enemy outside themselves, but as a signal of excess energy demanding command. Where there is lust, there is unused power-seeking purpose. Where there is temptation, there is force without structure. Those who fail to understand this mistake desire for destiny and pleasure for power. They spend strength on sensation instead of construction. They leak authority through indulgence. They feel power, full, yet grow weaker. The chosen who endure are those who learn early that power awakens desire, and desire, if left ungoverned, will quietly attempt to rule its master. The path of the chosen is unlike any other. From the moment one is marked for greatness, isolation becomes a constant companion, and with isolation comes a danger few recognize but all feel: the intensification of desire. The chosen live apart, not by choice, but by necessity. Their vision, foresight, and ambition separate them from the crowd. Ordinary pleasures, ordinary relationships, ordinary conversation, all of these begin to feel distant, inadequate, or even trivial. The mind races ahead, seeing possibilities that others cannot, and the heart aches for experiences that are never fully shared. In this space, lust finds it strongest foothold. Human beings are wired for connection. We crave companionship, validation, intimacy. But the chosen are seldom fully understood. When they speak, their words may inspire, terrify, or confuse. When they act, they move with a pace that leaves others behind. This gap between what they are and what the world is ready to receive creates a vacuum inside. A vacuum, as we know, is raw. Rely empty for long. Desire moves in to fill it. Lust becomes the body's answer to a mind that is too far ahead of its peers, a comfort to the loneliness of brilliance. Consider the paradox. The higher a person rises, the fewer peers they have to match their level. Allies are often subordinates. Advisors may see strategy, but never the cost, the weight, the sleepless nights. Intimacy in these conditions is a rare luxury. And when intimacy is rare, the body and mind seek substitutes. Lust emerges not as moral weakness, but as a survival mechanism, a way to reclaim closeness, however fleeting, in a world that otherwise cannot accommodate the chosen. This loneliness also breeds a dangerous misconception. The chosen begin to believe that indulgence is harmless because it is private. Secret plea. Shores are a refuge from scrutiny, a space where desire can be satisfied without consequence. Yet privacy amplifies temptation. The mind, when unobserved, becomes a theater where fantasies feel real and the body begins to insist upon acting them out. What begins as a fleeting thought can quickly escalate, because isolation allows the mind to rationalize what it would never attempt in public. Machiavelli, in his study of princes and power, observed that solitude is often a greater threat than open opposition. Alone, the leader confronts his own impulses without moderation. In this silence, the mind interprets desire as reward rather than risk. Lust is seductive because it appears harmless. It promises warmth, distraction, and affirmation, yet it quietly erodes focus and clarity. The chosen often fail to recognize that their greatest enemy does not lie in external rivals, but within the quiet chambers of their own heart. The chosen must also confront the duality of their need. Their minds demand discipline, strategy, and clarity. Their bodies crave sensation, intimacy, and release. The tension between these forces becomes magnified in isolation. There is no one nearby to temper impulse. No peer to challenge rationalizations, no equal to balance extremes. The chosen are left to face themselves, and when desire becomes overwhelming, the line between necessity and indulgence blurs. Moreover, the chosen are acutely aware of scrutiny. Their lives are watched, their actions dissected, their successes and failures magnified. This awareness drives them inward, forcing them to mask vulnerability even from those closest to them. Isolation is therefore not merely physical, it is psychological. The chosen live in a paradoxical cage of their own creation, visible to all, understood by none, and intimately acquainted with the emptiness that follows recognition. Lust becomes a secret rebellion, an act of reclaiming agency in a life otherwise governed by expectation and responsibility. Loneliness sharpens the senses in ways few anticipate. The chosen become hyper-aware of beauty, temptation, and the smallest pleasures that punctuate existence. Attention to the details of life, the curve of a hand, the intensity of a glance, the warmth of touch, becomes magnified. In isolation, these observations are no longer casual, they become compulsion. The mind, starved of connection, magnifies desire until it becomes nearly impossible to ignore. Here, the chosen must learn a critical truth. Lust is not merely a threat but a symptom. It signals unmet need, unchanneled energy, and the invisible burden of solitude. The loneliness of command amplifies temptation because it removes accountability, restricts understanding, and leaves the body seeking satisfaction in the absence of empath. The chosen are thus trapped in a private battlefield where every victory or failure occurs in silence, away from the eyes of those they lead, and the cost of miscalculation is often internal rather than public. For the chosen, discipline is the currency of power. From the earliest recognition of their potential, they are taught to master themselves, to suppress impulse, to govern desire, and to align every action with purpose. They are instructed that greatness demands sacrifice, that the mind must control the body, and that indulgence is the enemy of vision. Yet paradoxically, it is this very discipline that awakens the strongest forms of rebellion. The more rigorously a man suppresses his instincts, the more violently the instincts assert themselves. This is a principle that even wisest rulers cannot escape. Nature resists control, and desire is among the most relentless of forces. Discipline, by its nature, imposes restriction. It tells the body, the senses, and even the imagination that certain pleasures are forbidden, certain actions are unworthy, certain thoughts are dangerous. For a while the mind may comply, embracing structure and restraint as virtue, yet the man's psyche is not easily tamed. Suppression creates tension, and tension seeks release. When a man denies himself consistently, the body interprets restriction not as guidance, but as rebellion against its essential needs. Lust emerges as the clandestine answer, a secret revolt against the imposed order. Consider the chosen who rises before dawn, who denies sleep, who counts every calorie, who disciplines every word and every action. In this relentless regimen, the mind becomes sharp, but the body grows restless. It whispers, it tempts, it remembers pleasures denied. Discipline, which is meant to perfect the self, inadvertently sharpens the edge of temptation. The more a man controls himself, the more compelling the forbidden becomes. Lust is not born from weakness, it is born from the friction between immense control and the unyielding demands of the body. Machiavelli observed that a ruler must master himself before he can command others. Yet he also warned that absolute suppression of desire is unnatural, and that nature invariably finds a path around artificial barriers. The chosen, in their pursuit of perfection, often fail to anticipate this truth. They treat desire as an enemy, to be eliminated, rather than a force to be understood and directed. Every act of abstinence, every rule imposed upon themselves, generates pressure. The longer the suppression, the more explosive the eventual rebellion becomes. There is also the psychological dimension to consider. Discipline teaches the mind to measure, to calculate, to delay gratification indefinitely. While this sharpens it creates a vulnerability. The chosen become acutely aware of the pleasures they cannot enjoy. Their imagination fills the void, embellishes the forbidden, and turns abstract curiosity into urgent craving. Lust is, in many ways, a product of cognitive overexposure. When every moment is scrutinized, every impulse controlled, the mind cannot help but amplify the sensations it forbids. The 4B, deed then becomes obsession, and obsession becomes compulsion. Moreover, discipline isolates the chosen from ordinary human indulgences. Social norms and casual interactions often offer subtle release, moments of shared humor, touch, or comfort that prevent tension from building. The chosen bypass these, adhering instead to rules of conduct and high expectations. Without small outlets, the body and min de-store desire like compressed air. Eventually, the pressure must escape, and it does so with a force disproportionate to ordinary temptation. Lust is the eruption of a system overloaded by its own vigilance. This rebellion is often private, hidden beneath layers of control. The chosen may appear composed, unwavering, unflappable, but internally, a war rages. The body resents the mind's dominance, and desire becomes increasingly inventive in its pursuit of satisfaction. Fantasies, compulsions, and secret indulgences arise not out of weakness, but as a natural response to prolonged discipline. The chosen learn, often too late, that control is not a simple line drawn over appetite. It is a dynamic struggle, a negotiation between human nature and aspiration. Even those who succeed in governing others perfectly may fail to govern themselves. Discipline, while essential for mastery, is not absolute armor. Lust exploits the smallest cracks in vigilance, the fleeting moments of fatigue, the silent spaces where judgment falters. The more one strives to impose absolute order on the self, the more the body conspires to reclaim freedom, often through secret, consuming indulgence. The chosen are thus locked in a paradox. Their very strength, the discipline that sets them apart, sows the seeds of internal rebellion, and every act of restraint carries within it the spark of temptation that will inevitably seek release. Among the chosen, attention is a currency more valuable than gold. Recognition, praise, admiration. These are the invisible rewards that follow those marked for greatness. From an early stage, the chosen are taught to excel, to outperform, to stand above the ordinary. And the world obliges by responding. The more exceptional they become, the more eyes are upon them, the more admiration they receive. At first, this validation feels harmless, even motivating, yet it carries a hidden danger. It becomes a source of temptation, a subtle, corrosive force that fuels lust. Validation appeals to the ego, and the ego is intimately connected to desire. The chosen are not merely ordinary individuals, they are exceptional in vision, intellect, or capability. When others look at them with awe, it reinforces the sense of entitlement that often accompanies greatness. They begin to believe that because they are admired, they are somehow owed pleasure. The attention of others bears a mirror, reflecting power back upon them, and desire grows in proportion to this reflection. What starts as innocent affirmation transforms into a craving for more, not just achievement, but admiration, lust, and indulgence. The chosen are often acutely aware of how they are perceived. Every gesture, every word, every success is scrutinized. This constant observation can be intoxicating. It whispers to the mind, you are exceptional, you are desirable, you are untouchable. The danger lies in the transition from acknowledgement to entitlement. Admiration, when unchecked, begins to feel like a form of payment. The chosen may believe that their accomplishments entitle them to enjoy the attention of others in ways that transcend moral or social boundaries. Lust thrives in this environment because it disguises itself as deserved reward. Consider the role of flattery and influence. The chosen often encounter individuals who admire them, who seek their favor, or who offer attention in ways that amplify desire. While the chosen may initially regard this as harmless, the mind gradually internalizes it. Attention becomes addictive. The approval of others transforms into a measure of worth, and the desire to be admired begins to overlap with the desire for physical or emotional gratification. Lust, in this sense, is not merely sexual, it is the conflation of validation and indulgence. a temptation born of recognition rather than opportunity. Machiavelli observed that power is as much about perception as it is about action. The chosen are constantly navigating this landscape of perception, acutely aware of how others see them. This awareness creates a dual vulnerability. They must maintain the appearance of discipline and control, while internally wrestling with the intoxicating effects of constant attention. Lust arises in the gaps between perception and restraint, in the moments when admiration is interpreted as invitation, and when the mind confuses flattery with consent. Another facet of this struggle is the interplay between scarcity and desire. True admiration is rare. It is not distributed equally among men. The chosen, who are already set apart, experience this scarcity intensely. Every gaze, every compliment, every expression of appreciation is magnified because it is exceptional. The mind learns to savor attention as if it were nourishment. Desire grows in parallel with validation, because every acknowledgement of worth becomes a reminder of what can be possessed, not just accomplished. The chosen are acutely aware that their uniqueness draws attention, and attention, when mismanaged, fuels temptation. The psychological mechanism is subtle but powerful. Validation reinforces the notion of personal exceptionality, which then justifies indulging. Chosen may rationalize lust as a reward for merit, or as a harmless diversion for someone so rare and capable. Yet the danger lies not in isolated acts, but in the pattern of rationalization. Each moment of indulgence confirms the mind's internal narrative: I am exceptional, and therefore the rules that govern others do not apply to me. Lust becomes not a failure, but a consequence of affirmation. Even the most disciplined chosen are not immune. Attention magnifies desire because it creates the illusion of opportunity where none may exist. Eyes linger, compliments arrive, admiration flows, and the mind interprets this as tacit permission. What is harmless recognition for others becomes temptation for the chosen, because they are acutely aware of their power to attract, and their power, when unmoderated, becomes indistinguishable from entitlement. In this way, validation, the reward of excellence, transforms into a persistent private enemy, quietly stoking lust and challenging the discipline that the chosen must maintain. The life of the chosen is defined by purpose. From the moment they are recognized as exceptional, a path is laid before them, one of vision, ambiti, on and relentless pursuit of a destiny larger than themselves. Purpose demands sacrifice, patience, and unwavering focus. Yet human nature is not so easily subdued. The body and the mind are constantly drawn to immediate gratification, to fleeting pleasure that offers comfort in the present while the future waits. This tension between long-term vision and short-term indulgence is the battleground, where the chosen confront their deepest struggle, the conflict between purpose and pleasure. Every person experiences desire, but the chosen feel it with intensity magnified by their circumstances. They are not merely tempted, they are confronted with it at every turn. The mind sees the distant goal, the empire to build, the influence to wield, the vision to realize. But the body insists upon immediate. Pleasure promises ease, distraction, and escape from the weight of responsibility. Lust becomes the seductive voice of the present, whispering that gratification is not only permissible, but deserved. This internal dialogue is a test of discipline, foresight, and character, and it is fought in the quietest moments, where no one can witness the struggle. Machiavelli observed that men who aspire to greatness are constantly in conflict with their natural impulses. The chosen are no exception. The more extraordinary their purpose, the more they feel the pull of immediate satisfaction as a temptation to abandon or compromise that purpose. The conflict is not external, it is intimate and psychological. It is the body reminding the mind that it is alive, that sensation exists, and that desire cannot be ignored indefinitely. The chosen must navigate this internal battlefield with as much strategy and precision as they apply to external challenges. The danger of this conflict lies in its subtlety. Unlike overt threats, Lust does not announce itself as a danger to the chosen. It appears as relief, pleasure, or reward. The mind rationalizes indulgence as a harmless detour or a deserved reward for relentless effort. Yet every indulgence carries cost. The mind is distracted, the focus fragmented, the energy diverted. Purpose, which demands full attention and consistent action, begins to erode when short-term pleasure is prioritized. The chosen are acutely aware of this risk, yet the allure of immediate gratification is persistent, seductive, and cunning. There is also a temporal tension at play. The chosen live in a dual consciousness, one foot in the present, one foot in the future. The future demands restraint, planning, and delay. The present offers immediate sensation and relief. Lust thrives in this gap, exploiting the mind's occasional lapses, the moments when vision falters or when fatigue lowers resistance. The chosen feel this pull more acutely than others because their present is always measured against the magnitude of their purpose. Every small pleasure feels magnified because it competes with the vast horizon of their potential. Psychologically, this conflict teaches a profound lesson about human nature. Purpose and pleasure are not natural allies. They operate on different timelines and speak different languages. The chosen are uniquely sensitive to this dissonance because their ambitions are extraordinary. Ordinary people may indulge without consequence, the chosen cannot. Every lapse in discipline reverberates more powerfully because the stakes are higher and the timeline is longer. Lust is therefore not a trivial distraction. It is a force that tests the very foundations of their destiny. Machiavelli would argue that this struggle is inevitable. Even the most disciplined and intelligent individual must confront the seduction of pleasure against the demands of purpose. The difference between those who rise and those who fall lies not in the absence of temptation, but in the mastery of it. The chosen must recognize that pleasure, while natural, is also a persistent threat to vision. Lust is not weakness. It is the consequence of living between the extraordinary expectations of the future and the insistent demands of the present. The chosen must understand that this conflict is a constant companion. There will never be a moment when purpose and pleasure are perfectly aligned. Every victory achieved, every ambition fulfilled, requires negotiation with desire. The body, mind, and spirit insist upon immediate gratification, while destiny demands patience and discipline. The battle is unceasing, fought not on fields of war or councils of strategy, but in the silent chambers of the heart, where the most personal, most consuming temptations arise. The chosen who endure are those who recognize the reality of this tension, who understand that pleasure will always exist as a competitor to purpose, and who learn to wield restraint as a weapon as sharp and precise as any used in the pursuit of greatness. The path of the chosen is never simple. Power awakens desire, isolation magnifies longing, discipline provokes rebellion, validation tempts the ego, and the conflict between purpose and pleasure tests the soul at every turn. These struggles are not signs of weakness, they are evidence of greatness. To be chosen is to bear burdens invisible to others, to navigate temptations that only the exceptional encounter, and to face desires that seek to derail destiny itself. Yet within these struggles lies the opportunity for mastery. The chosen who recognize the forces that assail them, who understand that lust is not merely indulgence, but a signal of unchanneled power, unfu. Silt connection, or internal conflict, can turn temptation into a tool rather than a trap. Self-awareness, discipline tempered with strategy, and the constant alignment of action with vision allow the chosen to govern not only others but themselves. In the end, the true test is not whether the chosen can resist desire entirely, but whether they can channel it, transform it, and use it to strengthen their purpose, rather than weaken it. Lust, like all human impulses, becomes a battlefield. Those who conquer it rise stronger, wiser, and more capable of fulfilling the destiny that first marked them as chosen. Mastery over oneself, after all, is the highest form of power. and the chosen are called not merely to influence the world, but to rule their own nature with unwavering command.